PeerHive, a decentralized finance protocol built on the XDC blockchain.
XDC is one of the chain that is focused on the real application of it, not just Solana or Base that is focused on the meme coin. We will be joining up with another AI around 2 to 3 months down the road. A lot of SME owners, they got themselves in big trouble because they go through a very illegal route of financing option. We are creating a true peer-to-peer lending mechanism between associations. Let's say you go and apply for a loan with them, it can take a very long time, let's say 1 month to up to even 6 months before they disperse the loan to you. For PeerHive, we can technically shorten this period to under 1 week.
I am Kishanbaalaji from XDC Blockchain. I handle the ecosystem for India. How about you, Vincent?
Hi, I'm Vincent from PeerHive. So we are mainly based in Malaysia. Been traveling up and down recently, and the next big event we are going is Token.
Oh, nice. That must be a fun event to be at. Anyways, so let's get to what PeerHive is doing. And this is our first segment, which is the introduction, which is solving SME financing with Web3. So imagine a world where small and medium enterprises, SMEs, can access fast on-chain financing without the barriers of traditional banks. A world where investors earn sustainable returns by directly funding these businesses through smart contracts. That's what PeerHive is building. Welcome back to the XDC India Podcast. I'm your host Kishanbaalaji, and today we are exploring an important problem: SME financing. Despite being the backbone of many economies, SMEs often struggle to secure capital. Traditional loans are slow, paperwork heavy, and inaccessible to many. That's where PeerHive comes in, a decentralized finance protocol built on the XDC blockchain, designed to facilitate short-term on-chain financing for SMEs using smart contracts. And today we have Vincent Yeo, the founder of PeerHive, to break it all down. Vincent, welcome.
Thanks.
Before we dive into the technical side, let's start with the big question. Why do SMEs need a platform like PeerHive?
I will just ask you a question to begin everything. In Asia Pacific, right? Think how large is the SME funding gap in Asia Pacific alone right now for SMEs?
I know in India it's huge. It's huge. The gap is really huge because not many people have the money to start off real, businesses, the initial capital. Even if they have really good ideas, it's really difficult to get capital to start those businesses. And of course, banks are tough to catch a hold of with, a lot of this CIBIL scores and your ranking, especially if you're working in a Web3 industry where, you might not necessarily have the right documents to show that you earn enough to get funding to start your own business. So not just that, the business is huge. The gap is huge. And I agree with what you guys are doing.
Mature businesses right now, there's a funding gap of $2.4 trillion across Asia Pacific.
Wow.
In Asia alone, there's more than enough pie for us to share. And how do we work all this, right? Is that all the SME that we approve on our side after going through all the credit check, all the KYC, KYB, we put onto our platform and we allow investors from all around the world to invest directly into all these SME directly with minimal fee on our end. And this is how it works. So why does SME need all this thing, right? SME require all these funds or financing option to grow their businesses, not just growing their startup, but it's growing mature ecosystem, logistic industry, like what we see in the import and exporting company. They require funds to continue to grow their business, growing out of their region, growing out of their country, throughout the world. This is why it needs. And right now we are looking at economy that is heavily required on very big funding to sustain their business in the long run. This is where we come in.
Thank you for putting that in, very clear cut sentences and making us understand what the gap really is. The SME financing gap and the PeerHive vision is something that I would like to talk about next. Many SMEs are profitable but still face cash flow issues. What are the biggest hurdles they face when trying to get financing from banks or traditional institutions?
Okay, if we are looking at Malaysia alone, right? When the bank wants to loan you money, it's through two main things. One is through internal banks, their own referral system where they access your bank statement and they see see that your financing health is very good, they just close an eye and give it to you. The second one which we are trying to solve is those without a very good financing background, those that unbanked. This is where we are trying to solve, and this is the biggest hurdle within the economy right now. We've seen a lot of mom and pop shop or down the road. Let's say in Bangalore, let's say you go and apply for a loan with them, they will strip you down and dive through your business model, dive through your financial. Is it worth it? And this is why they can take a very long time, let's say 1 month to up to even 6 months before they disperse the loan to you. And this is the biggest hurdle when SMEs that are often profitable, but they also face cash flow issue. We are trying to solve that issue here. For PeerHive, we can technically shorten this period to under 1 week for the entire thing. Then the next week, we can start to raise the fund from our investors already.
Okay, so DeFi has primarily been about speculation so far.
Yes.
But PeerHive is focusing on real-world financial applications. How does PeerHive enable SMEs to access financing in a decentralized way?
Okay, that's a very good question. Even though we are not totally decentralized, we are like a marketplace. So any client that comes to us, we have to go through a KYC process, KYC and KYB process, which is integrate between a decentralized world as well as the real-life application, right? So this is where we comes together. From there, PeerHive would technically go through the details of our borrowing client, look through their bank statement, look through their credit health. Then from there, we allow investors to directly invest into those borrowing pool directly through what we call as a flow-through method. So all these stable coins that invest onto our platform stage on a borrowing pool that's specifically catered towards a single borrower. And after that, we will get our fee. Then the rest will directly flow to the borrower. The opposite is true when the repayment of the process, right? So let's say the borrower start to pay off their money. They use our stablecoin and pay directly to investors after we deduct our fee. Yep.
Okay, wow, this is great actually. So does this only extend to SMEs, or do you also give out personal loans? If you're going through bank statements and if you're going through the person's history and about, you're basically trying to establish his financial health and then you give out the loan, right?
Yes, correct.
So this is only extending out for businesses, or are you looking at also giving out personal loans? Say somebody wants to buy a new car, or maybe they want to go out on a vacation or anything, right? So is there something that's provisioned for within PeerHive? Is there a future for it?
Okay, right now we are focusing our service towards what we call as businesses or SME in this case, right? But down the road, I wouldn't want to rule out anything, but we might look into personal financing, but which this personal financing is for collateral back, because most of our pools or borrowing pool by the SMEs are collateral back in this case. They are backed by property, plants, equipment, even sales contract and all that. So this is how we differentiate ourselves. Come back to a question of personal financing. We will be looking at it, but default rate on personal financing will be higher and the interest is not that great compared towards SME financing. But we wouldn't want to rule out this one, like let's say maybe we'll start doing this 3 years down the road or even 4 years down the road if everything goes right. We have to tackle one single vertical first before I move on to the next one.
Yeah, no, I was just interested because say if I have a property, right? So maybe I just shared that collateral with you and in the form of papers, and maybe, raise financing for something on those lines, which I guess is a real world asset use case.
That could be done.
Yeah, it could be done. Yeah. So let's talk about the tech behind PeerHive and why XDC. So PeerHive is built on the XDC blockchain. Why did you choose XDC over any other blockchain?
All right. XDC Foundation was one of the early investors for us, right? They are one of the early, I can say they are very visionary in terms of our platform. And from there on, we just clicked together and said, hey, there's a lot of application on XDC that we might able to work together with, like one of this invoice on the chain itself. I forgot the name already, but we could work together in providing a close-knit application layer onto the XDC network. This is why PeerHive is willing to build on XDC blockchain from what we are looking at. XDC is one of the chain that is focused on the real application of it, not just Solana or Base that is focused on the meme coin, Ethereum, which is focused on the EVM compatibility only.
Thank you for, investing in us as well. So your time and you building on our blockchain is something that we are grateful for as well. So XDC is known for its high speed, low cost transactions and enterprise adoption. How do these features help improve the PeerHive experience?
Okay, XDC is known for its high speed and low cost transaction, right? Every time we transact on the blockchain itself, one of the main criteria that we are looking for is the gas fee. We want to reduce the gas fee in this case because it doesn't make sense for an investor to invest onto a blockchain application that has a high gas fee. If let's say you only invested $100 into one of our borrowing pools, but the gas fee is already more than $200.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense for people to do that. So that's why XDC is one of the blockchain that we are looking into before we get the investment from XDC Foundation. And this would greatly improve the PeerHive experience in terms of the usability, the low transaction cost as well.
Yeah, I completely agree. So we're going to be talking about how PeerHive works, particularly about the borrowing and investing. Let's talk about how PeerHive actually works. Say I'm an SME owner looking for a short-term financing. What steps do I take on PeerHive?
Okay, if let's say you're a SMEs that is based in India, right? Most probably you'll go through one of our partners in India that's helping us to look for potential SME to borrow money to. So from there, then your partners in India will go through a preliminary check on your financial health, your credit and all that before they pass it to us. So if let's say they already pass it to us, we will place your application under our internal credit rating AI. From that AI, we will generate a credit report onto us. After that credit report has been given to us, right?
Yeah.
You look through and say, hey, this is a good business model. You have a good financial health. Good, great. You put onto our platform after generating a smart contract to back it up. And then you give us the collateral. We park that collateral name under one of our PeerHive SPV. Okay, this is to ring fence the asset that in case of a default, we're able to recover that asset as fast as possible. This is how we do it. Then after all this smart contract has been generated, we put onto our platform and we directly allow investors to use our platform to invest into you. Then let's say the campaign period has reached and then you meet the 80% criteria. All the money in the platform, you're able to withdraw from that platform and then you can use it to expand your business to pay off your creditors.
That's an excellent model, Vincent. I'm really impressed with what you guys are doing. So when you talk about partners in India, who would these partners be? I mean, maybe you can mention a few partners across India and across the world.
Okay, right now we still don't have a presence in India, but we are looking for active loan agency around the world. These are what we call in Malaysia is that outsourced banker. That we still don't have a active presence in India, but we are looking for outsourced bankers, or what we call outsourced bankers are those financial consultants outside of the financial institution to work together. Let's say loan agency in India or financial consultant in India, but we are looking for more collaboration effort from there. But in Malaysia, right now we are working actively with associations to set up an internal credit union to them so they can just work between each other for their own loans and all that. I wouldn't go into too much details, but we also work with local loan agency or financing consulting agency. So if let's say one of the clients, they require some funds from us, they can vet through first, then they can work together with us. And that's how it works.
So I'm guessing if a lot of these SMEs are borrowing money while showing collateral, there are going to be a few bad players during, whenever you run a business. And so how are you going to tackle those bad players? Are you going to seize the collateral, or do you have a legal team that does that? How does that work in real world?
Okay, in real world, I wouldn't go into real world first, but if you look onto our models, there's a smart contract model, which is to generate all the rules as well as all the default and not default, but the repayment cycle as well as the repayment schedule and all that. This is the smart contract. And then the other hand we have is a replica of the smart. Technically saying the smart contract is a replica of the legal contract that we have. Okay, that legal contract was drafted by one of our lawyer in Malaysia and can be arbitrated in any arbitration court around the world. But we prefer to be in Singapore or in Malaysia. This can be disputed, and then in terms of default recovery, we can use this legal agreement to back our legal claims onto the loan itself.
Got it. I was just a little, inquisitive about how that works. But on the other side, how do investors participate? What makes PeerHive an attractive opportunity for them?
PeerHive, right? Okay, give a guess. Right now, USDC, USDT, how much are you getting in return for staking?
Think about 3%, 4% on safe platforms.
3 to 4% on safe platform, right?
Yeah.
Right now, for us, we are trying to target between 10 to 15% return per annum basis. But that comes with a condition is that your money might be locked up for the period of the investment itself. This is how we differ, and we provide them a much more safe investment strategy compared towards speculative trading and all that.
Yeah, got that. So since you guys have a legally binding contract and a smart contract which backs that, so that USDT is or whatever stablecoin or collateral is locked in for that certain period and then released with the interest, right?
Yes.
Okay, understood. Because a lot of places, a lot of exchanges do provide this as well, but like I said, the interest rates are not that great, and the ones that offered good interest rates, we know what happened to them last year. So
yes, but I would like to correct you on this case, right? Is that the collateral is not on USDC, USDT. The collateral in this case are backed by real asset like your property, your car, your equipment, and all that. So during that period, right, investors cannot ask for early redemption on their loans, just that they have to wait for the loan to be matured, then they can withdraw from there.
Thank you for that correction. And yeah, coming to the next segment, I think it's timed perfectly. So about the real world impact and case studies. So do you have any real world examples of SMEs that have successfully raised financing through PeerHive?
Yes, 3 months back, we ran a prototype with a local outsourcing company in Penang, where they borrowed around $650 to meet with their short-term cash cap. So because this is such a small amount, we can internalize within our platform itself. So what we do is, okay, we still go through all the required KYC, the required credit check. Then after everything is done, we create a smart contract on XDC network. That smart contract, then our company, we directly invest our own fund into the borrowing pool. From that borrowing pool, we publish it onto our XDC network, and it's broadcast. I think it's for that pool itself, it's already matured. I think it's a 2 months period, but the interest rate we are looking at is around either 10 or 11%. Yes.
Wow, that's great interest rate, to be honest, considering inflation is so high. I would love to have a look at that contract or the smart contract. If you have a transaction, maybe we can share it with our audience, so that the guys who want to see the internal workings of the transaction and want to see how it works can actually see it. So PeerHive offers a decentralized alternative to banks. Do you see this replacing traditional financing models or working alongside them?
I would say we would work alongside them. When we look at traditional businesses, most of them are not Web3 native. They are not blockchain native in this case. So how can we work alongside is that once the fund is being raised through our platform, once it's all cleared, they can withdraw the fund from USDT, USDC into a fiat currency. Let's say transferring between USDT to Indian rupee. From there, they can just directly use that money to go through a banking system and then settle the debt on the fiat currency side. We wouldn't want to say ourselves as a replacement for a financial institution, because we just offer a subset of what financial institution has been offering, which is the debt financing part.
Yeah, got it. Some SMEs struggle with credit history, because sometimes the first 3 years are usually the hardest for any SME, and sometimes growth is not linear, right? Sometimes it just goes like that, and then they crack a contract and it goes exponential. So how does PeerHive build trust between borrowers and lenders in this system?
Okay, right. In the debt financing platform, we cannot eliminate what we call default risk 100%.
Yeah.
That's the fact. When we do financing, we always have to take into account of certain risk of default, which is, let's say, 70 to 80% of it. Around 20 or 30% of it will default. So how do we protect our investors in this case is that we will create a legal contract that says, hey, you already borrowed such amount of money from us. You need to provide us a collateral in this case. You need to provide us a property as collateral towards all this. then this builds a trust between the investors and the borrower that the borrower will repay their loan, or else their plants or their property can be liquidated to us. That's how it works. And on top of that, PeerHive wouldn't provide 100% of the collateral value, but we provide around 70 to 80% of the collateral value, so that the remainder value we are able to reduce what we call as the management fee as well as the legal dispute fee if let's say there's a default happening. Yeah, that's how it works for us. And from this, right, this would be able to build trust between the borrowers and the lenders right now from what we see. But certainly down the road, we are looking at a lot more ways for us to reduce this credit history by looking at alternative data, which we are looking at. We will be joining out with another AI soon down, let's say 2 to 3 months down the road. We are using aggregated data to provide us a credit report that is not solely based on your financial health, but also your aggregated health.
Got it. Usually in traditional finance, if you know some business owners and the business owners know you and they've seen the way you work, they invest in you, right? So usually people invest in people more than businesses. So are you planning on bringing something on those lines onto PeerHive?
Yeah, we do actually. So right now the MVP for PeerHive is already done, but we are already working on the second version of PeerHive, which we are creating a true peer-to-peer lending mechanism between associations. Let's say in Malaysia, we have this chambers of commerce, Malaysian Indian Chambers of Commerce. We work together with them. They can able to create a credit union around them, and then they can invest between each other, borrow money between each other. That's how it works.
Okay.
So this is one of the roadmap that we have down, let's say 6 months down the road. But we are certain that this would be able to caters to a lot of other investors that believe in each other.
Thank you for answering that question. Let's go over to our next segment, which is expanding the XDC ecosystem and future roadmap. So PeerHive is built within the XDC ecosystem. Are there plans to integrate with other XDC projects such as enterprise trade finance solutions?
Yes, certainly we do, right? Right now, we have identified several XDC projects that we are looking to work together with. First of all would be the XDC trade finance application, where we can directly tap onto their platform and then we help them to set up another fundraising avenue or fundraising channel as compared to their traditional channels, right? Along the way, we're able to put more investors from what we look at other blockchain, strengthen the entire XDC network from there on, and to allow more people to use XDC. Yes.
Okay. So what's next for PeerHive? Are there any upcoming features or partnerships you can share? Any alpha?
Okay, I wouldn't say it's alpha. Right now, for PeerHive, we actually have a 1 to 2 years plan. The short-term plan within the next 1 year is to get what we call a sandbox regulatory from the Securities Commission of Malaysia, where we're able to operate legally, fully regulated compliance in Malaysia because Malaysia a country. So from there, we're able to openly solicit for investors, open solicit for borrowers in that case. Certainly, we have a longer term vision is to expand our business solutions towards the entire region, let's say the Southeast Asia region, where we want to go deep instead of go wide. We want to go deep down into the traditional finance, the traditional businesses. So from there, we're able to cater a very good partnership with them as well. Then yeah, maybe from there on, we're able to talk more, know more people. Then more than that, we can set up local office within each of the Southeast Asia country.
Got it. So what's the one innovation that you're most excited about in PeerHive's future? Yeah.
Okay, right now, there's actually one features that we are excited about, right? It's that AI integration to PeerHive. Right now, we are looking to deploy a credit rating AI internally, which we are working with a prominent chief evangelist from one of the prominent DB, right, that outside to set up a credit rating AI that's not just looking on your finance, your crypto history and all that, but we look at your action, we look at your spending, we look at your your stats and all that. So what we can do is we can aggregate all the data around we call it touch and go in Malaysia, which is a smart payment application on our app on our phone. From there, we can extract all the useful data and we can know what's your credit history. This is one of the most exciting part that we are looking at. How we're going to deploy it is very easy. If let's say a partner in India, they got a very good platform they want to introduce to us, upload to our platform, the AI will extract all the data from the borrowing package that they gave us from India and churn it out into a credit report backend for us to view. That's how it works.
I mean, it's really exciting, but at the same time, it's a little scary, to be honest.
Yes.
Uh,
But don't worry, all of the report that we generate internally, we'll share it out together.
okay,
Yes. So we don't gatekeep information because we believe that decentralized world, that all the investors, all the players within the decentralized world, what are they doing and what are they investing?
got it, got it. So people might have multiple wallets, multiple personalities, because, the crypto space is so fast. You might want to cash in on the meme coin. You might want to invest in long-term assets and short-term assets. And so you guys are going to check on these different behaviors using AI and then establish a score so that you can lend to those people. Is that what you guys are doing?
Yes, that's what we are trying to do. We are planning to do that, but not really a lot on crypto side, but we are looking at the spending behavior of that person itself.
Okay, got it. So this is another question that I had. So there's a lot of problem with double spending, right? So somebody might have, say, a piece of land and they might have sold it to 7 different people. Sometimes it happens a lot in India. And if they approach you to do, borrow money, how do you tackle that particular problem? Are you going to look into litigated properties, or are you not just going to touch any of those litigated properties?
Yes, we don't touch litigated property, any property that is in dispute, because that would reduce the chance of us recovery the debt from there. While we are looking at fully paid off property, any fully paid off property, we can give them a value based on the borrowings from there on. This is what we are planning to do, as well as one of the most concerned when we are talking with potential LPs and potential investors as well. And this is what we're trying to do. After that, if let's say the KYB process is done, the credit check is done, everything's fulfills it, we will ring fence that property as well as provide a charge towards the local home office that say, hey, you cannot do anything other than selling this property off. Even though you are selling it, you have to pay us the money back. That's how it works.
Okay, got you. So, Vincent, this has been a really insightful discussion. Before we wrap up, what's your advice to SME owners and investors looking to explore DeFi financing?
I would say right now, traditional SME owners, they have to look beyond their financing option, look beyond the banking system. A lot of SME owners, they got themselves in big trouble because they go through a very illegal route of financing option through local loan shark, there they stain themselves from there on. So if they are looking at DeFi financing, one of the better ways is that they have to learn more about blockchain first before they come to us. This is why PeerHive is also providing a continuous education process towards our clients, towards our potential investors as well. So from there on, they know what they are getting into as well as what they can do with the stable coins. Yeah, then from there on, this is what we always give to our investors, try not to speculate trading as much as possible. Don't go full degen, even though degen might give you a very good return in the short period, but studies on that very long term down the road, let's say 10 to 20 years, they are not giving you a good return from there. It's just marginal, let's say 0.5 to 2% lifetime return. What we are trying to do is that we want to reduce that and give you a much more sustainable return by investing in the mom and pop shop that you always go and shop, like very early days in your early childhood, right? So this gives them a way to grow as well as to grow the entire economy. So what we are trying to solve is that we remove the speculative nature of blockchain. We remove what we call as there's no sustainable output from blockchain ecosystem and match it with people that requires that liquidity in real life. This is my advice towards the investors.
This is very good advice. I suggest that all listeners take this advice because this extends beyond just blockchain, or it's just general discipline in life. It's always good to manage your liquidity well. Yeah, and for those who want to get involved with PeerHive, where can they sign up and connect, Vincent?
Right now we have our website is PeerHive, PeerHive.app. That's our PeerHive. I'm fully doxed. My co-founders are fully doxed. Twitter, Telegram, and Instagram. Everything is there.
Great. And yeah, we are obviously going to share it down here in the description below, so you guys can reach out to them directly. And yeah, so I think this is the end of the episode. Thanks again, Vincent.
Thank you for having me.
So, if you found this conversation valuable, don't forget to subscribe to the XDC India podcast. We'll be bringing you more deep dives into blockchain, Web3, and the future of decentralized finance. And until next time, see you.